Today we have the one and only Austin, ATM Austin. So thank you so much, brother, for giving us your time to actually be here with us today. And that's really, really good. And like, who is ATM Austin? Like, enlighten us, brother. Put some
Yeah,
light in our understandings.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, so thanks for having me. You know what I mean, sharing the story as well. ATM Austin. So Austin Hale. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and really just becoming more and more of a self leader in my own life. So I'm 29 years old, about to be 30 here in July. Currently, we're living here in California, and yeah, man, I'm just continuing to learn and grow every day.
Okay, that's wonderful. And yeah, we are going to talk about it, but to see that point that you said, like becoming a leader and leading your community, that's really huge. And we are going to dive into that. But we are here to actually find out about your experience of using the tool that we all use, TechnoTutor. And I'm just going to dive in, man, how did you find it? How did you
Mm.
find
Yeah. So it's interesting how things work out, right? So I found TechnoTutor because of day trading. So ATM Austin comes from, turning my phone into an ATM. I day trade in the foreign exchange market. That's how most people know me on social media. I've been doing that for 5 years now. 5 years this month. It's April. Yeah. So I was in a community. I was an educator with the mindset and just helping other people learn how to trade, helping people work through their flaws, programming, whatever you want to call it, with trading, with making more money, having your own business, dealing with amount of money that people in your family typically have never made before. And so within that, I would hold daily mindset calls. And there's a guy who was in the mindset calls and he was like, hey, Thomas Kim, right?
it?
And so he was like, hey, man, I think you should check this out. Like, this is right up your alley, exactly what you're doing. And he was asking me about the success rate within the people who I was helping with their mindset. And it was interesting because what I noticed was I could tell somebody how to trade. I can give them a strategy. I can tell them about what I noticed from the outside looking in based on helping other people. This is what you might be experiencing with having resistance towards taking a trade out, taking profit, this and that. But for them to actually do it was a whole nother ballgame, right? And so it's like you can teach somebody how to do the things, but for them to actually do it now in an arena where you have so much emotion attached to the money, the wins, the losses, being right, being wrong, all these different things, it was hard for those people to actually work through that programming. And so I looked at the tool. He lives in the Bay Area, a couple hours north of me here. We're a couple hours north of LA. So him and his brother would travel down to LA every so often. So they would stop by. We would chop it up for a bit. He showed me the tool. And so my wife and I were like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, we can use this for our daughter to homeschool her. Oh, it's not just for homeschooling and helping increase the processing ability of kids, but we can use it within our day trading. We can use it within our business. We can use it within all the trauma that we dealt with our parents, different past experiences, other relationships we're in, just being a better communicator, taking more responsibility. Like, oh, this is the actual change. And so that's how we got involved initially and how we got exposed to it. And then simply from just being on the public global masterminds that we have every Friday, seeing the level of conversation and the certainty that people were having, it was just like hands down. We were like, okay, we have to get involved. This is the best, highest quality conversation and most clear community as far as conversation and goals and what people are living by than we'd ever experienced. Been in tons of different mindset groups, went to Tony Robbins events, Joe Dispenza events, different things like that. But it was like these people are actually clear and they have a huge purpose and goal overall. So yeah, man, that's how we got exposed and like why we decided to get involved with TechnoTutor as well.
That's pretty awesome. And I really want to emphasize the point here that in your case, you had already certain programming so that you were able to be successful with trading, right? But
Mhm.
being at that position, like I know you touch a little bit about it, But what
Mm.
makes you say, okay, I know I am doing this. I already know how to do it, but this could also help me even get better. Like what was it specifically about it that kind of make you see that? Because many people, even when they become successful, they like, oh, I know it all, or I can do it, stuff like that. But you were able to actually see it.
Yeah, yeah. And man, it was like I just started, really having more success with trading. Even when I was within the group, I would have, highs and lows, ups and downs, and I was still kind of finding my consistency. And, I realized because one of the principles we have is being self-honest. And so I just realized for a long time I wasn't being honest with myself about the results that I was actually having and what I was accepting and allowing within my life, within my trading, within my relationship, within myself.
Like, what do you mean by you weren't self-honest with your trading and what you
Mm,
were?
so, yeah, so I wasn't. It's funny you say that. So it's like I knew these things were going on, these results that I was having. I'd have wins, I'd have losses, but with the losses, I was so focused on just trying to win. I was just focused on the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. I wasn't willing to go into the hard parts and be vulnerable with myself, right? And so it's like I wasn't willing to be honest with myself and say like, Austin, you're not doing this. Austin, you have a problem here. You have a problem with greed. You have a problem with your ego, and you're not facing it. Like you're just trying to push past it and deal with it at another time. And that's why they say that financial stability comes after emotional stability, because so many people try to become financially stable and then they'll have the time to work on their emotions, and it's just simply not the case at all. And so what I noticed was, now that I'm working on my emotions and being emotionally stable, meaning I'm not making emotional decisions, and when things happen I'm not being as triggered by those things. Okay, now I can have more financial success. Now I'm being way more consistent on the charts. Now I'm actually being able to be honest with myself because I'm not judging myself. Right? I didn't want to be honest with myself because I was already judging myself. I was feeling embarrassed as to what I was going through, what I was experiencing, what I was still failing at. And I didn't want to look at it. And I didn't want to say, like, I have a problem with my ego. I have a problem with my greed. I have a money program that is terrible because, like, not having a father growing up, my mom working a lot, and we didn't have a lot of money. And so for me now to be dealing with on a daily basis more money than my mom was making in a month, you can't just make that jump without dealing with some things along the way. And so I wasn't willing to go backwards. So that's my point. I wasn't willing to go back and figure out the things that were hurting me now. I was just trying to keep focused forward and just keep like pushing through, going forward. But all these things that were from my past and I was hurting from looking back at them, I didn't want to just go there, stay there for a minute, deal with it, figure it all out. So now I never have to worry about that anymore going forward. And because I did that, and because I'm doing that and willing to do that, life on a daily basis is just so much better than it's ever been. Like I don't have all of these emotions that are keeping me in a certain place. I'm actually able to continually grow on a daily basis. Every day, every week, every month is the new best day, week, month that I've had. Yeah. So yeah.
Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. I hear you say that you have been working with people like Kevin Trudeau, Joe Dispenza. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what else have you done? Like, before getting into TechnoTutor, like, what else have you been involved with? Like, when it comes to then personal growth and working on yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So essentially, man, like I'm from Ohio, and so for those of you who are out of the country, it's a part of like the mid-eastern part of the United States. And so now I live in California, so it's over 2,000 miles away.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, like I was just kind of a little backstory, like I was going to high school, took a semester off of college, started going to college, for just general things. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, what I wanted to study, but I knew that I liked working with people. So I was studying business administration, which is just a very basic type of like management degree. But I started working as a server in a nice seafood restaurant. And in that seafood restaurant, I did well, like as a server, and I was very punctual. I wanted to do a good job. I very rarely did the same things wrong twice. And so I moved up into management within my first like 6 months. And so I was 19. And so I was managing a restaurant, managing other people who are much older than me. Um, I'd have to cut people off from drinking alcohol, and I wasn't even legally able to drink alcohol myself, right? And so within that, over the next couple of years, they sent me down to Houston multiple times, in Texas for like management training. And so I was like being groomed to be a general manager. And literally, I myself and one of my buddies at the time, he was doing very well within the restaurant he was working at. And so we, we'd have conversations, and we just realized we're stuck. We can make great money comparatively to what the average salary would be.
Mm-hmm.
But we're always going to be stuck within this job, within this cycle, within this matrix, you could call it, whatnot, right? And so him and I, long story short, man, like we left. He left his restaurant, I left my restaurant. We came out here to California. His girlfriend had family out here in Los Angeles, and so we literally moved 2,000 miles away. We both didn't have any family out here, and so we were doing moving. We had a contract with a furniture company that's nationwide, and so we were able to do furniture deliveries for them, and then we would also move people as well from house to house. And so I mean, man, like I stepped away from a job that would have been making me over 250 grand a year, right? And like I was 23 when I moved, and by the time I'm 25, I'm 29 now, like I would have been making a quarter million a year, USD. And so, and him, very similar, not quite as much, but him, very similar. But we just knew that there was more, and we valued the freedom, and we valued being able to like write our own story instead of just going along the rat race and climbing the ladder within a corporation. And so we moved out here. And so to answer your question, it's like when I moved out here, I started learning more about holistic health. I started learning more about the mindset. I started learning more about law of attraction, Bob Proctor, Joe Dispenza, Kevin Trudeau. I got Tony Robbins, like Jim Rohn, all these like motivational type of speakers. Man, I was in a studio apartment living by myself. My buddy lived with his lady, and I was just, man, smoking weed, listening to motivational videos, trying to have my best life, and trying to manifest shit to happen. And was just going down the rabbit hole, like why we think the way we think, what we're doing, what influences us, and whatnot. And so, yeah, man, like, Tony Robbins had some events. I've even done a Tony Robbins event with my wife, the Unleash the Power Within. Jim Rohn has hours of videos on YouTube. I listened to Your Wish is Your Command by Kevin Trudeau, like 10, 15 times, right? And so was just trying to like manifest and will myself to this life that just simply wasn't happening. I got involved with day trading, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be a millionaire, within a year. And that didn't happen, right? And so I was caught up within a bunch of different pieces of information that essentially was just making me feel good, and was just making me think that I could, just will myself and think my way into having a different life. And it just,
I lost you there, brother.
I'm back.
Yeah, you left for a few seconds.
Okay, sorry about that. No, I'm away from where we live right now, so I had to connect to my phone on the Wi-Fi. You can hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Yeah.
All right, perfect. What was the last thing you heard me say?
Oh yeah, you were saying that you were listening to those, and you realized that you cannot will yourself to success or will yourself to what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. And so really that's it. Like I just was kind of going around in circles collecting a lot of information, but I wasn't truly having like quantum leaps and changing and having extreme levels of growth like month after month after month. Yeah, until I got involved with TechnoTutor about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it has already been a year and a half ago, man. Time flies.
Yeah, I know, right? We got involved with the public self-perfected hangouts, the ones on Friday night. We got involved with those 2021 in November, December. We ended up getting TechnoTutor late January in 2022. And then, yeah, we're here now, man.
Damn it, damn it. So now let's look at some like result, right? So
Okay.
you mentioned something that's also really, I don't know if people got it, but you said right now you are even able to make in a day what your mother could make in a month. Like in
Yeah.
you with TechnoTutor and before TechnoTutor, like how has that happened when we look at in terms of because you are in the trading field, that's what you do. And I
Mm-hmm.
assume that you have used it to work on that business. Like
Oh, yeah.
tell us about that.
Oh,
Give
yeah,
us some
yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't want to like make any income claims or anything like
Mhm.
that, you know what I mean? But I mean, I guess we could. But no, man, I mean, like we all have this like money program and being an employee, right? And
Yeah.
so it's very difficult to break through that. And it's it was something that was just a lot easier for me to continually work through and actually get to the starting point. Because a lot of times it's like we'll just try to push through, but we have these things that are holding us back. And so, like with the Techno Tutor, it was allowing me to get to the starting point. Like I never really understood why I had such an attachment to money, why I had such an attachment to being right, being wrong, being good enough, and my results making me feel like I'm actually good enough when instead I should feel like I'm good enough no matter what the results are. Right. But that was a part of my programming. That was a part of my mom telling me my dad didn't want to be in my life and literally just lying to me about that. Her kicking me out, not just having conversations with me and trying to get to know me. And so I'm thinking I'm not even good enough for my dad. I'm not even good enough for my mom to want to be around and try to help me. So it's like, oh, now my success is what's going to measure my self-worth and make people want to be around me. So that's why I was climbing up the ladder within the restaurant. That's why I was wanting to be super successful with day trading and all these different things, have my own business. But it was all just to fill this void in this improper programming that I had from a kid. And so how I've used it with day trading, it's like Giselle and I met through day trading. We met at a day trading event here in town, from a group that we were in before. And so, yeah, man, like it's something that I don't know. It's just really powerful. Like, I mean, what specifically do you want to know?
Give us some, you don't need to be like super precise, but you can like give just
Mm.
some. You don't even need to name like
Okay,
a niche, but just like some.
I dig it. Yeah, yeah. So how I've grown, right? So within day trading, within the foreign exchange market, all right, we day trade the value of the currency ratio. So it's not stocks, it's not crypto, right? I invest into crypto and hold, but like within the foreign exchange market, it's if I'm trading the Great British Pound to the US dollar, right? GBP, the Great British Pound to the USD, the US dollar, there's a ratio. So, like, if I'm going to come over to a country that has the Great British Pound or in Mexico, the peso, things like that, there's a currency exchange rate. And so that currency exchange rate varies on a minute basis, hourly basis, a daily basis. And so I trade that. And so with that, you know, um, now you can trade your own money. You can put in $500 to $1,000 of your own money, or you can work now with they have companies to where if you show them that you can trade and bring back a consistent return, and make X amount without losing X amount over a period of time, then they'll give you money to trade with. And so they do a profit split. So you keep 75, 85, 80% of the money, and then they keep the rest. So it's a win-win for them. You pay some money. If you don't hit it, they just keep the money, a couple $100 that you pay them. And then if you do and you do well, then they get a share of your profits. So essentially, like before I got TechnoTutor, I was trying and trying and trying to get funded, is what they call it, to get funded with one of these companies. And so, I mean, now, it's like I've you can have up to $600,000. You can have $1 million with them. And so it's like I started off, with $10,000 account, and then now I've done $100,000 account. Now I'm working on another one, and so with that, it just makes more sense to give you a bigger return. So I'm trying to like give some context so people can understand why I would do it that way. But it's like if you were to put in $1,000 or $500, let's say, of your own money into the markets and make like Friday, I made 3%, over 3%, right? So it's like if you're going to make 3% on $500, it's $15. But you could take some time, pay them $500, get access to $100,000, and that's if you pass, and that's if you are doing things well, and then you have $100,000. And so now your 3% on $100,000 is $3,000 instead of 15, and then you keep between 75 and 85% of that. Come on, it just makes more sense. But people are caught up in like short-term success. They don't want to take a month, 2 months to actually get that payout, secure the account, play the long game. And so they just always stay in that cycle. So one thing I've been doing now is I'm focused on continuing to increase my assets under management, and and then just use that to then create my own portfolio for myself. But at the time, it just makes more sense to be in a position with them to get paid out every other week, all the profits that I make. And and then just stack that up, use it to build the business and other things as well.
That's brilliant. And this is also, I want to touch a little point on that you said, and I know maybe people have missed it. So what you just said is not just in terms of trading, because some people may trade, but if you do not then develop yourself so that you can understand that part of leverage, it doesn't really matter how good you are, you won't make
it. Bro. Like it's, you have to have a bigger mindset about it, because you can't just start to think about like, oh, I'm just going to start making it real quick. Like, no, like even if you make thousands of dollars tomorrow, you're still going to have to live the rest of the week to spend it. Right. So it's like, like just, that helped me realize that a lot when I had my daughter. Right. Because it's like, man, I'm going to have to, like, even if I make a bunch of money tomorrow, I'm still going to have to live the rest of the week to spend it. I'm going to have to be here and take care of myself and my body and everything in order to live with my daughter and my wife and have more kids and whatnot and see them grow up. And so it's just, man, it's just funny because people have such they don't have depth of vision. And the depth of vision is so important, because it's not just about making money. It's not just about making money within the system and within the game. It's about knowing how to play the game, right? So it's like, once you make these profits, are you just withdrawing them into your bank account? Are you able to create your own religious assembly to where you can donate into your religious assembly and then be tax-free from the money? Are you understanding what type of tax exemptions you can take part in? Are you understanding how to set up your own LLC, your own trust fund, and then your own trust that owns your LLCs? And maybe I'm just getting a little too deep, but that's what we're learning right now.
Right. That's brilliant, right? It shows like from where you were, just like, okay, how can I trade? But now you have changed. You are trading, but you are not stopping there. Now you keep on increasing. You want to get to a bigger game. You want to get to a bigger game, into a bigger game.
Yeah.
The bigger the game, the bigger the impact.
And it's all just vocabulary, dude. Like, the reason why the elites are the elites is because they have an elite level of vocabulary, right? They talk about, people say tax the rich, and it's like, come on, the rich have a higher level of vocabulary to where if you tax them more, it's simply not going to do anything. There are legal exemptions to taxes. There are legal, people call them loopholes. It's not a loophole, it's the literal law to where you can create these different businesses so that you have exemptions from your taxes. Like, and it's just, people aren't just willing to learn those things, understand the vocabulary and whatnot. Like right now I'm learning things to get my pilot's license, like at some time in the future, and it's just vocabulary, like these different things. If I said RTY, you might think of the letters RTY, but if I said Romeo Tango Yankee to pilots, that means RTY, Romeo Tango Yankee, and so it's just all vocabulary.
What is he talking about?
Exactly, man. Because you don't have that vocabulary yet, right? But then with TechnoTutor, it's like I just run those things through TechnoTutor, and now I know them. I don't have to think about them anymore. And so, man, on just a bunch of different levels, it's awesome.
That's wonderful. So now let's look at another one. like family, like how would you say TechnoTutor has impacted you and the family?
How TechnoTutor has impacted our family?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's improved my relationship with Giselle so much. Like we never had a bad relationship, but we got involved before we had TechnoTutor, and then we got pregnant and had our baby before we had TechnoTutor. And so the communication, her and I would get triggered a lot by what each other was saying. You know, people listen to this that are in relationships, you know, you have arguments that just seem stupid, but we're essentially just judging each other and we're judging ourselves. And so with TechnoTutor, we were able to be so much more clear about what we were saying. But then now she's able to process more of what I'm saying. I'm able to process more of what she's saying. Not that I didn't understand the words that were coming out of her mouth, but being able to like sit back and really just let her speak and really just literally see things from her perspective more. And so within our daughter, like our daughter is 19 months now. Um, dude, she's a fucking genius already. Like we're here with her present, using the tool to where now we can write letters on the refrigerator and say, where's the W? And there's 4 other letters there and she'll point to the W. You know, Giselle's working with her now on her numbers. I mean, she literally knows 28 different signs with sign language. Like I can say, where's the airplane? And she'll say, you know, do you want more? Okay, more. I want to eat. I want to go poop, you know, like mommy, daddy, like all of these different things. And she's 19 months old. And it's
Wow.
because we're using the tool and we're there present with her and we're taking the responsibility. And so that's how it's mainly helped our relationship, because of the taking of responsibility. When I was talking about the communication before, typically people have bad communication because they're not willing to take responsibility for creating a good environment. No matter how you're making me feel, I'm going to take responsibility on understanding you, making you feel comforted, making you feel like you have a space to where you can openly express yourself, and let's move forward together as a unit. So many people just have a back door, like if this ain't working, nah, it's okay. We can get a divorce or we can just leave. And it's like, no, like we got married, we're here together now, we're in the position to support and assist each other going forward for life. And so because of that, because we're clear and there's no back door, we're here with each other, assisting and supporting each other, and we have the best relationship. Like we have the best relationship sexually, you know, with ourselves, with our communication. We have the best relationship. We just make each other laugh. Like we're here and we support each other for life. And so most people don't have that, bro. Like I have keys to life and I got so many more of them before. Like, dude, I'm not rich right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on the path to making more and more money, but it's funny how things work out. Whereas I have so many keys to life to where anybody who, let's say, would be rich, the only things that they're trying to get are the things that I have. Does that make sense? Like when you're trying to get rich, what do you want? A good relationship. What do you want? A healthy body. What do you want? You know, a good network of people. What do you want? Things to help you with your health and wellness and your clarity and understanding your emotions. I have all that. And so to look back and think that like, man, I have what rich people want, but I also have the income stream and availability and understanding of to have that as well in the very near future. I just have to work through a couple things within my emotions that will also directly translate into my life and give me a better life and ability to build business. Like, let me be grateful. Like, let me just say
Billionaire in
thank
the
you for
making.
what I have. Yeah, like billionaire in the making, you know? So
That
it's yeah, so it's been very interesting. But then to go back to the question within the relationship, like, yeah, dude, it's helped the relationship so much because our relationship is built on principles. And so many people just don't have a relationship built on principles. It's built on lust and it's built on feelings. And then when the feelings go sideways, the relationship goes sideways. You know, we're supporting, and Giselle's supporting somebody with that right now. It has TechnoTutor, and she was still caught up in her feelings. Oh, I just don't want to be by him right now. Oh, the things are going well. Oh, I can't wait to go see him again. Come on, you're not stable within your emotions. You know what I mean?
like a
And so
battery.
yeah, and so for us to be able to like assist and support other people within those points and then walk through and successfully walk through those points within our own life, dude, it's a blessing, man. And we've had the tool for less than a year and a half technically. So we're super excited for the rest of this year and the years to come, man.
Man, look at that. Isn't this amazing? How many people are actually out there looking forward into the future?
Yeah. Yeah. They're just
That's
caught up with right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something right there. Like someone
Hmm.
excited into looking into the future because
Yeah.
they have the tool and the network, the community to actually keep growing,
Yeah.
expanding. What's out
Hmm.
there? What's next? That's like
Dude.
wonderful, brother.
Yeah. And like the last part on that, like you said, the community, this community is the only community that I've been a part of to where people actually have structured, supportive conversations with the hard things. Like
Mhm.
in other communities that I've been a part of, like people aren't going to support you to like stop smoking weed. Like I'm supporting one of my buddies to like stop watching porn, man. Like, but people aren't willing to have those conversations in other communities because they're judging themselves or they're judging the other person. But we're willing to say like, nah, like we got the tools, like we have the principles, like we have the resources to support you with this and to actually live your best life. And so that was something that like I have this, tattooed BYOB, and so it's be your own best. And this is a little like keyhole from the apartment I used to live in a long time ago. And so it's like we're actually being our own best now. Like I got this tattoo years ago, man. And I was trying to look for all these other ways. And now I have TechnoTutor, and now I'm actually able to assist and support myself and other people to actually be your own best. And because of the community, like I quit smoking weed, like 14 months ago now after smoking for 12 years. You know what I'm
That's
saying? 12 years.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to get into. I was like, okay, how about in the personal level? Because I know
Mm-hmm.
that in the personal level as well, there have been like huge, huge, huge change. Like
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
that you have stopped, like the one that you just mentioned. Like
Mm-hmm.
run us through, brother. Like in a personal level, you just mentioned it. Maybe you can elaborate more on that. But like in a
Mm-hmm.
personal level, how has that support you on a personal level?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the biggest one, man. Like, I was smoking weed for 12 years and I was going to quit every day for 10. Right. And so it's one of those
Wow.
things to where the self confidence, the self esteem, like it just eventually just gets beat down because I'm like, how can I not overcome something? And there's so many people out here, man, that smoke weed that want to stop smoking weed, but they just don't know how, or they're just not willing to stick with it. And mainly they don't have the support and they're not willing to reach out and they're not willing to just do the thing. And it's not just about just doing the thing. It's about why do you even smoke in the first place? And that was something that I realized because, like I mentioned before, my mom told me my mom lied to me and told me that my dad didn't want to be around. So okay, I'm not good enough for my dad. He doesn't want to be around. My mom kicked me out. I'm a teenager, this and that, and so it's like I'm not good enough for her, but I was always good enough for the weed. I never had the two people in my life that could give me my mom unconditional love and then my dad the support. Those people weren't ever there, and so weed was always there for me. Weed would always give me a consistent result. I never had a consistent result with my mom. I never even had a result with my dad. Other people, this and that, and so it was always there for me. It was the thing that was always going to be there. It would always give me a consistent result. And so I just realized that, like, when I was smoking, also, I wasn't trying to take responsibility for how I felt. I would go into my feelings a lot when I was smoking, but I wasn't truly willing to take responsibility for who I was, who I was growing into as a man, and then being able to take the responsibility, having a family, growing my own business, and doing what was needed. And so, I mean, like, I never had. My mom was like alcoholic. She quit drinking when I was a couple of years old. I think like 4 or 5 years old. But I never really had a problem with alcohol. I would drink, but I was mainly just smoking. And so that was the main thing for me, man. Like, a lot of people in my family are overweight or obese, I should say, not overweight. And I've always been involved with health and wellness. You know what I mean? Like I've done, like mini marathons, running. I've done cycling marathons, like 106 miles, like when I was in high school, bro. Like cycling marathons, things like that. I've always been into health and wellness. But why? It's because my family wasn't. Why did I want to get a bunch of money from trading? Because I didn't have that growing up. Why did I want to also trade? Because I could work from home and be with my family, when I noticed that my mom would always leave me at my great grandparents' house and be gone for the whole damn day. And work was the thing that separated me from her. Work was the thing that separated our family in my eyes. And so I'm like, damn, if I can do this for just 2 hours, well, I personally, I trade for 2 hours in the morning. So like, if I could do this for just a couple hours in the morning and then be with my family and spend time with them for the rest of the day, that was like the golden nugget for me, man. And so it's very interesting that like on a personal level, a lot of the things that I wanted were the things that I didn't have growing up. And so with the tool, it helped me get back to the starting point of all that. You know what I mean? Like Cameron supported us to go and get married. My mom wasn't married. My mom had different relationships. She's married now, but I didn't have that growing up. My grandpa was married a number of different times and things like that. And so it was like I was resistant to get into a relationship. You know, I was resistant to look at my starting point within wanting to trade. And now it's like, okay, I'm using those profits to like, build business and do other things and create cash flow and whatnot. Like, yeah, I have plans with that. But it's like, why did I want to be healthy? Oh, because people in my family weren't. And so I never really understood that. And so many people never really fucking know the reasons why they're doing what they're doing. People are just doing them. And they're never really understanding, like, oh, you really are acting this way in your relationship because of this. Oh, you really want this type of business, or you're pursuing this because of this. People are just doing it. And they're not able to actually be self-honest and look at and have the tools to even uncover that emotion with, why are you actually doing what you're doing? So yeah, man, I hope that elaborates on
That's
some of the
like
personal.
brilliant, bro. That's like just brilliant, because you really went into the detail on like how it works and how
Yeah.
you also like work through it. That's really wonderful. And like another point that you mentioned in the beginning was being a leader for your
Mm.
community.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what's next?
What's
What's that?
next?
Yeah, what's that being a leader? What could you tell us about that?
Yeah, man. So I mean, like right now, I'm focused a lot on my family. I'm focused a lot on my family. We're doing things well. Like I said, Giselle and I have a great relationship. We assist and support each other in a great way. Within just the community and people that like I'm involved with online, things like that, really just exposing people to like being their best version of themselves. And like, hey, we have this tool and the search is over, and directing people like, oh, you're meditating? We used to meditate too. Giselle and I used to hold meditation events here in town. We'd play the sound bowls, we'd do the whole thing. But it's like, is it really changing you? You know, to where it's like, hey, I'm going to assist and support you to get to the root cause of what you're doing, but then look at actually why you're doing it. And okay, like this tool that we have is going to help you be the best version of yourself, not just in business, not just in relationships, but in your personal life as well. So it literally is a jack of all trades to help everything. Oh, and when you have kids, it's going to make your kid like literally going to be a genius. Like every kid that uses TechnoTutor is now a genius,
Guaranteed.
guaranteed, like
Yeah.
genius level. And so for us, it's like the search is over. So how I'm helping my community was like, people know me from trading, some people know me from health and wellness. Now, people know me within TechnoTutor, but for me, people have noticed that I'm not meditating anymore. I'm not doing affirmations anymore. Like I'm grateful and I'll speak on life, but it's not to the level that I was before, walking around the block saying I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm a millionaire, and I'm still not a millionaire, right? And so it's like people are noticing I'm not doing affirmations, I'm not meditating anymore. I don't have to continue to go to events to gather more knowledge. Like reading books and getting more information is good, but I can program myself now with this tool to do whatever I want. And
Yeah.
so, and then when I am reading books and when I am taking in other information, I'm able to process it at a higher level. And people just sometimes simply don't realize or don't get that because they're just not doing it. It's like you're never going to really truly understand. Like we have this water machine that gives us alkalized water that we drink out of, and then we just got the shower unit. And so people don't really realize like what taking a shower in actual clean water with no chemicals feels like until you do it. You don't realize what having a massage and air conditioned seats in your car is like if you've never had it. And so some people just sometimes can't see it. And so my thing right now is I'm trying to help people see that. I'm trying to help people get to the point to where they're willing to take the step forward. I'm trying to get people to realize that they're accepting their limitations in life and that they don't have to keep doing that. And so for me, it's just like, hey, when you see me, when you see my page, you're going to be challenged and you're going to be questioned as to the way that you're thinking. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that, hey, you need to do this, but I'm saying that, like, be willing to look at something that you've never seen before, because everybody that's using this tool has just a different quality of life. We have an exceptional quality of life within our relationships, our self-health, our self-talk, our mental talk, our back chat, and we're just living at a whole nother level. And most people haven't even been using the tool for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And so let alone like the next 2, 3, 4 decades. So for me and how I'm helping my community is just opening up their mind to what's like over the fence, right? To what's on the other side of living your actual best life. So I hope that makes sense. I feel like
God damn it, you nailed it again.
Oh, okay.
That's if I were to put it in one sentence, that would be give as you would like to receive.
Yeah, totally.
That's
totally.
it.
Totally.
That's it. That's it. Awesome, brother. Awesome. Any other thing that you want to share with us that could be useful to anyone watching this?
Yeah, never underestimate something, because you're just looking at it based off of your radar right now, and you're looking at it based off of your program. But once you change that, man, like life starts to change. So when you want things in your life to change, you have to do what? Change things in your life, right? And so most people just aren't simply willing to change things in their life because they don't want to invest into something, because they want to see the value before they invest into it, because they what? Have a program against money that isn't serving them, right? And so yeah, man, I'm happy to connect with you. We've known each other for a little bit now, just within the community, but it's like we're able to resonate, we're able to have this great conversation, we're able to go back and forth because we're not judging each other, because we're not judging ourselves, because we assist and support each other to live our best lives. We live by these principles, and things are just going to continue to get better and better. So I mean, like on Instagram, if people want to find me on like, on Facebook is Austin Hale. On Instagram, it's at atm.austin. So ATM, I turn my phone into an atm.austin on Instagram. But yeah, man, I mean, I'd be happy to, answer any questions people have or whatnot and go back and forth and have conversation with them. So
yeah, and I will definitely encourage you, if you're watching this, to reach out to Austin. You can reach out to myself, but reach out to Austin because he has more than what you just shared.
Yeah.
And like
yeah,
he
so
said,
much more.
he has more and like really, really good stuff. And just by connecting with him, he's actually going to show you and support you how he has done everything that he has done. Right. And like he said, if you want things to change, you have to change the way you're doing things. So that would be from my point, the last words that I will say. I'm going to put Austin's contact as well in the description so that you can, to make it easier to reach out to him. But like you said, reach out and just have a conversation. Just have a conversation. That's how it all started, right? Tim, Thomas, he just had a conversation with you. That was just a conversation. And today your life has totally been transformed. So that's what we want for everyone. And this is what we are creating. That's what we are here to do. Thank you so much, brother, for coming here and sharing your story with us. It's just like, it's amazing, bro. It's amazing.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm super happy. Yeah, I'm happy to share it. If you guys are watching this before June of 2023,
yes,
Viany, put the link to go to the Self-Perfected event in person so you guys can meet us in person, because that's going to be great. And yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm happy to share some of my story.
Awesome, brother. And thank you for reminding for the event. That will be amazing. So thank you so much. And bye-bye.
Yep.
Awesome, brother. That was
yeah.
good. Damn it, you have